everything's working. Well, hello, wherever you are, and whatever time you're watching this. It's 7:30. No, it's not. It's 8:30 in the morning in Central Europe, 7:30 in the morning in London and the UK. My name's Martin Daubney from Inspire Coaching. Oh, hello. Didn't know you were going to be talking to me as well. That's the LinkedIn Live feed showing that I'm LinkedIn Live, feeding back to me, which is lovely. My name is Martin Daubney from Inspire Coaching, a Basel-based coaching company that's been around since 2012. And we've loads of experience in helping people be at their very, very best every single day without burning out. And with that in mind, I'm going to talk to you today, and you can join in. Please do send me a message. I'm going to talk to you today about a technique that can really, really help kickstart your new year. This is the first LinkedIn Live Shift Happens podcast of the new year. And we're going to be looking at a technique which will help, hopefully, and is evidence based enough to make me suggest it will um, help you shift in a big way. um, if I say the word journaling, chances are you're going to, oh God, not journaling. Martin, please, this has been around forever. And it has, but very few people really pick it up and do it, mainly because they don't know where to start or what to do, or if they need a special book or a pen or anything like that. The reality is, journaling is very, very beneficial to you in a load of ways, and I'll run through potentially 8. Um, but also, if you really, really want to get on and want to be at your best, it's a very useful tool to help, as my book says, clear your head to get ahead. My book isn't a journal, but it certainly has that mantra about clearing your head, as does journaling. And you will not be surprised, I suspect, to know that there probably isn't a single senior leader in your organization who doesn't journal, for the various reasons I'm going to spell out in a minute. So, kickstart. Do you need a special pen? No. Do you need a special book? No. There are things called bullet journals out there. There are special journals for men. There are people that like to decorate their journals and do lots of fancy artwork and all sorts of things. I'm reminded, really, when I talk about this, about when I was a kid, and so I don't know why, but I would be given one of these a page a day diaries at Christmas. I think my parents thought I might turn into Samuel Pepys or a great diarist or something. But I managed about 3 days of this journaling. It wasn't formed in those days, and honestly, the only things I could think about what to write was "had a nice day." Nothing really more than that was important when I was a kid. But these days, there is so much more to think about, and so many more ways of clearing your head. Now, don't not do or continue to do the walks in the countryside and your meditation and all those other bits and pieces that you already do to maintain your well-being. And then add journaling. And it may sound an onerous task and a big task. It really isn't. It's like 5 minutes at the end of the day will be enough to really get you going. The other thing that people put in the way is, I don't know what to write. Well, nobody does. The artist doesn't often know what they're going to paint until they put the first mark on the canvas. And it's a little bit like writing an article. If you're a blogger, you're not 100% sure what the blog's going to look like until you write the first few words on them, and then the thoughts come. So let me give you some ideas about what you can journal on and what that might look like, um, and the reasons for journaling. So top reason, perhaps, is clarity and reflection. As I said, many of your leaders in your organization and those people who are truly successful use journaling as a way to clarify their thinking and reflect on what has happened. I worked for someone who, thank goodness for their their corporate environment has now retired, who didn't have a clear thought in her head when she was giving out the tasks to her team. And each and every one of us would go away and think, okay, I think I've got it. Come back with the builds on their suggestions. And she would just go, no, no, this isn't what I'm thinking. That's this, that, no. And would use her team, who most of who departed long since because they couldn't stand it, use her team to clarify her own thinking. If only she had used journaling, it could have saved an awful lot of hassle and stress. One guy I joined the company with left. He left within 6 months. He couldn't take it. Actually said to her, I may as well bring you in the Chinese restaurant menu because what you say and what I interpreted it and come back as bears no resemblance. So anyway, that's them. But the clarity and reflection piece, writing down your thoughts, really allows you to clarify your feelings and your thoughts, and it helps reflect on those experiences. So very much in my old days of pharmaceutical sales, where we would have, what do we want to get out of this call, the pre-call analysis, the call, the meeting of the doctor, and then the post-call analysis. So how did it go, your expectations and the outcome. What happened in the middle? Could you have done it any better, any quicker, any faster? Picked up any signals, and so on and so forth. So those reflections, those thoughts, those feelings, really do help you improve, and that's the name of the game. Without stressing out. Now, improvement, incremental steps, consistently applied over a long period of time. That's going to get you there. Very, very important. There's a huge amount of data now about how journaling can help you with your emotional well-being. So journaling can be therapeutic. And I'm going to come back to that, of the exercise that we can do at the end of this LinkedIn Live, that you can take away and do. And maybe let's come back next week and see if you did it. Let me know. But journaling can be therapeutic. It helps in managing stress, reducing anxiety and coping with difficult emotions. And writing about challenges can provide perspective and alleviate the intensity. 100%. When we replay things over in our mind, our psychology really doesn't know the difference between what actually happened and what we're imagining. So every time we relive it, we're re-releasing all those hormones and neurotransmitters and enzymes into the system and doing the damage that the first event did. Now, if you can get that out of your system, and I do recommend pen, hand, paper writing, although there is now some evidence to suggest that actually typing versus pen writing doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. But anyway, getting it out can actually, your psychology knows it's then captured, and you don't have to really remember it too vividly. You can go back and visit it. And that's kind of the crux of the exercise that I'll share with you later. Journaling is also great for goal setting. It's a reminder. Your goals help you clarify what you want to achieve and you can start to create a roadmap of how to get there. And you can use the journal to track your progress. So you could actually plan out some things in the pages in your journal, and then tick box and small steps and those little micro goals that help you get the big one at the end. It's extraordinarily useful, and a lot of people find this for creating creativity and idea generation. And particularly if you're one of these people who can do mind mapping or brain mapping or heart mapping, however you want to describe it, where you have an idea in the middle and some threads come off and then linked threads, you know what I mean, where you get this kind of spider diagram that goes across the page. Beautifully done in different colors for some people. Different themes have different colors and so on. And it's a very, very useful exercise to help you explore ideas. If you sit with an idea, you tend to sit with the idea. If you get it down on paper and see it, somehow your mind can see there's another possibility. Oh, that can lead to this, can lead to that. And then you don't lose the thread of where you've come from. So very, very useful in that way. For personal growth, of course. So self-discovery and personal growth, an opportunity to explore what you understand. just writing down what happened, and by documenting your experiences and thoughts, you can identify patterns. And sometimes, certainly within the clients that I see, it's those patterns that give us an indicator about where the blockages might be. I can then ask them the questions they're often too afraid to ask themselves. So, very, very useful way of getting through some of this nonsense that we carry around with us all the time. The memory and gratitude one, that you may have heard of a gratitude uh, journal as well. It's certainly in the circles that I speak to, gratitude is one of those energetic frequencies that is really, really good for us if we genuinely are feeling that feeling of gratitude within us. Then um, it actually supports us in so many ways. And the idea of gratitude journaling is to just find three, four maybe, but three things, moments, experiences during the day that you feel grateful for. It could be your lovely spouse bringing you a cup of tea in the morning. Very grateful. Don't take it for granted. They're not always there. It could be that those after a few days of cloudy weather, like I've got here in just outside the window here, very cloudy, very dull, very white. It's just been snowing, but that feeling of gratitude when the first rays of the next sun come in and hit your skin, and you can feel the warmth on your skin. That's a lovely feeling to have. So there can be moments like this, but there can also be those moments of deep gratitude when you maybe got rewarded or recognized. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Recognized for doing a good job at work, and your boss came up and just told you that you did really well and keep going and so on. Feeling grateful for those. Now, the thinking here is like most things. Um, the more you focus on it, the more you find things to be grateful for. It's in exactly the same way that the more you're pessimistic and you find negative things, you'll find more negative things to be negative about. Our attention our energy flows where our attention goes, something like that anyway. And the more you can find moments, experiences to be grateful for, however small, the more will show up for you to be grateful for. And that is a massive mood shifter. Um, you can use journaling for problem solving. Often, you know, those moments where you've probably had this. I've had this. I actually had this while I was driving a car, believe it or not. I was pondering on a question I was studying years ago. I was studying mathematics, not terribly well, but I was nevertheless had this big problem that I was trying to solve and figure out and understand the language of maths in order to solve the problem. And I can still remember the exact same place in the car on the road at the time. What was going on when I suddenly had that? Oh, that's how it works. I got it. I got the concept, and I was able to apply it. Um, Same sort of thing happens when you're doing something mundane, like the washing up or cutting the grass, or even just in a silent moment going for a walk out in nature. The problem solving, writing down the problems or the dilemmas can help you analyze things a little bit more succinctly, but you can also dump it there. It enables you to consider various options and previous options. You put it out and you write it down um, and leave it there sometimes and then come back to it. So journaling isn't a linear day by day diary type thing. It's something that you can refer back to as well. And then your communication skills. So regular writing can improve your communication skills. Now, it helps in organizing your thoughts coherently. So when you are thinking about what you might do, you've got this kind of reference, this back of pocket type thing to dip into and have a look at and see what you can do. Journaling. So let me know if you're going to have a go. The new year is a fantastic time to start a new journal, like I said. Um, with my childhood experiences of getting a diary every year. No idea why. I should ask my mum. It never struck me as a good idea, but there you go. That's what life is all about. But I promised you in the preamble and in the advert and a little bit earlier an exercise. Excuse me. And this exercise came to me through the Andrew Huberman podcast, which I do recommend. They can be a bit long, and that's okay. Um, and he goes into immense clarity, which perhaps I might not. But it comes from some work that was done uh, by a guy called, and I'm reading it here, Dr. James Pennebaker. Dr. James Pennebaker did some work a long time ago on therapeutic journaling. In fact, his paper, which I can give you a link to if you would like to see that link, Writing About Emotional Experiences as a Therapeutic Process, James W. Pennebaker, easily accessible to you. Now, here's the protocol. It's a fairly strict protocol, so you have to buy into this, and you do it your way, by yourself in a quiet space. You're going to need four. Probably it says bizarre, isn't it? It says between 3 and 5, and then you get the law. It's 4. So whatever works for you, but between 3 and 5. If you dried up, you dried up. Writing experiences where you sit down quietly in a room, preferably by yourself, no noise around, and engage with your writing instrument and the paper and write for at least 15 minutes and actually no more than 30 minutes, depending on who you read. Somewhere between 15 and 20 is okay. The point being, at least 15 minutes. And if you're in the flow of something as you're writing, don't stop, but don't go on any longer than 30 minutes. So minimum 15, but no more than 30. 20 minutes is fine. And what are you going to write about? Well, anything that's affected you in your life experiences to date that still has a bit of a negative impact. If you think about it, it can bring you out in cold sweats or raise your heart rate, or you've got a negative feeling about it. Now, the word trauma comes up, and you can use this for trauma. You can use this for whatever you thought was trauma. It's your thoughts. So, however you describe it is trying to get it out, and it's what you're writing are your thoughts and your feelings about the event or events that took place. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about sentence construction. Don't worry about punctuation. Just get it out and down on paper in a continuous stream. If you're running out of time in 5 minutes and looking out the window, it's not happening. There's some things that really, really, really help. The studies have shown, and there have been multiple studies on this, that actually it can reduce anxiety and stress, and in some people reduce pain and asthmatic, all sorts of things, all sorts of bizarrely, all sorts of physical symptoms can be improved by doing this, as well as your psychological symptoms. So it's really, really good for not only mental health, but physical health too. And if we can get any of that out the way and dealt with and sorted, then that gives us more space to be at our best every day without burning out. So why not give it a try? The thing is, you've got to do it 4 times. It's not a one and done exercise. It's 4 times, and you choose what's best for you. I'm going to do it 4 consecutive days. You can do it once a week for 4 consecutive weeks. My feeling on the once a week for 4 consecutive weeks is by week 3, you forget which day it is and you won't do it. And then the whole thing becomes a bit empty. But if you do it every day for 4 days consecutively, round about the same time would be nice, because then it becomes regular, and revisit whatever comes up. It's a little bit like peeling the onion, so you get more out. But it also has a knock-on effect, and you go where your thoughts go. You don't stay on the topic of, oh, I remember that time when I was at school and the teacher did blah blah blah, and that's the thing you focus on. Your thoughts and your emotions will go everywhere, and it can even come into today if that's where you want to go. It's your writing, it's for you. Here's the thing. Here's probably the difference that makes the difference. the more you're able to dive in and get to those thoughts and feelings and give to the paper, the stronger, the better the outcome is going to be, and the bigger the difference you will feel after the exercise. Um, let's have a. It's not a word of warning, but let's be sensible about this. Sometimes when we revisit some of those events, it can actually make us feel upset, cry even. Well, stop. If that's too upsetting for you to do, don't do it. As simple as that. There's no compulsion to do this. No one's holding you to account, only you. But if it's too overwhelming, stop. That serves no purpose. But there may be other things around you that you can really, as a knock-on effect, you can sort of slowly get there. Just try it. So I'm going to do this. Carol, my wife, is going to do this too. We both know, we are of a certain age, and we've lived some lives, and we've experienced some experiences, and we've had experiences where life, it can be for anything. It can be for a death. It can be, which I've experienced. It can be a divorce I've experienced. It could be a breakdown. It could be all sorts of things that are still within you and potentially holding you back, and maybe even a trigger source for some of the events you're experiencing today. Uh, the, interestingly, I find the paper or the research in this actually says it's probably as good as going to see your therapist and talking, but somehow you're not. It's just completely private. Oh, that's the other thing I have to mention. No one's reading this. Absolutely 100% locked up just for you. And you can reread it if you want to. And you can, after the 4 times you've done it, you can tear the pages out the journal and set fire to it in a ceremony if you want to. But this is just for you. No one's reading it. So you can be as brutally honest as you really, really can be. So there you go, journaling. I just thought I'd give that out there. It's the first LinkedIn Live of the year. There should be a song about that. And I'm going to do this writing exercise, right? So the paper, if you're interested, it's in Psychological Science Special Edition, Writing About Emotional Experiences as a Therapeutic Process by James W. Pennebaker from the South Methodist University. That was published in May 97. So tons of work has been done on that since this first publication to back it all up. Let me know how you get on. My name's Martin Daubney. You can find me obviously on LinkedIn, which is probably where you are right now. Send me a message, send me an email. Let's get in contact. Let's discuss this, and let's see whether or not we can come together next week, Wednesday, and if anyone's done this, what their experiences may have been. I'm holding me to account here. I'm going to do it, and I'll let you know what came up and how I found the process next time. So in between then, keep well. Make sure you do your breathing exercises. If you don't know what those are, get in touch. And I will see you on the next LinkedIn Live. Also, by the way, The Shift Happens has a newsletter that comes out every Friday. If you'd like to be subscribed to that and get your copy, then please do let me know, and I'll make sure it lands up on your LinkedIn feed on Friday. But in the meantime, keep well, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye now.